For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Oregon seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 210, the Rural STEM Education Research Act, as amended.
The clerk will report the title of the bill.
H.R. 210, a bill to coordinate federal research and development efforts focused on STEM education and workforce development in rural areas, including the development and application of new technologies to support and improve rural STEM education and for other purposes.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentlewoman from Oregon, Ms. Bonamishi, and the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Lucas, each will control 20 minutes. The chair now recognizes the gentlewoman from Oregon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days to revise and extend the remarks and to include extraneous material on H.R. 210, the bill now under consideration.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentlewoman from Oregon is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of H.R. 210, the Rural STEM Education Research Act. I want to thank Ranking Member Lucas for introducing this important bill. Every state in the country is filled with students who have an incredible curiosity for STEM and the potential to make important contributions in these fields. But too often, students are left behind and are unable to fulfill their vast potential simply because of where they live. Students in rural areas have long faced obstacles to receiving a high-quality STEM education. Lack of broadband access, for example, has long been a barrier. Schools in rural communities often struggle to access the equipment and facilities needed to provide students with hands-on STEM experiences. Research shows that hands-on experiences help inspire scientific curiosity and a love of STEM in students. Teachers are trying their best, but they have limited resources and support. And to make matters worse, the COVID-19 pandemic and the transition to remote learning has further exacerbated these inequalities. Students and teachers in rural communities have worked hard to adapt, but they need help. We have an opportunity, not just to recover from what was lost during the pandemic, but to ensure a better STEM education future for rural students. The Rural STEM Education Act provides for research and development to increase access to STEM education opportunities in rural schools and to provide teachers with the resources they need to teach more effectively. The bill also directs NIST to develop a prize competition to advance research and development in support of expanded broadband access. This bill further provides for assessments of federal investments in rural STEM education to be conducted by the National Academies and Government Accountability Office. This bill is an important step toward improving STEM education in rural communities across America and will help build a 21st century STEM workforce that will help the U.S. remain a global leader in science and technology. I strongly urge my colleagues to support H.R. 210, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlewoman from Oregon reserves. The gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself as much time as I might consume.
Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Lucas, is recognized.
I rise in strong support of H.R. 210, the Rural STEM Education Research Act, a bill that passed this House with a resounding bipartisan support in the 116th Congress, and I hope it will do so again today. I'm pleased to be leading this important bill and would like to thank Chairwoman Johnson for her support. Now more than ever, America's prosperity, security depend on an effective and an inclusive science, technology, engineering, math, computer science workforce, or STEM. Nationally, 80% of the fastest growing occupations depend upon a mastery of STEM skills, and the number of STEM jobs is growing 3 times faster than non-STEM jobs. Over the next decade, the STEM shortage is anticipated to reach 1 million positions, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. To succeed in this market, our students need to be equipped with solid skills in science and engineering. Meeting this demand starts in the classroom. Over 9 million students in the United States, nearly 20% of the total K-12 population, attend rural schools. In Oklahoma, that number is even higher. 1/3 of our students attend rural schools. These students face a number of barriers to accessing high-quality STEM learning, including a shortage of trained science and math teachers, a lack of access to advanced STEM courses, and few local university and industry partners. And since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, We have seen further proof that rural students are at a disadvantage given the unreliability or non-existent broadband access many struggle with while doing distance learning. The Rural STEM Education Research Act supports research and development activities to improve our understanding of the challenges rural communities are facing. And it takes steps to address those challenges in providing and sustaining quality STEM education programs. H.R. 210 helps develop better practices for accessing and using computer-based and online STEM education courses. It will help schools combine online STEM education with hands-on training and apprenticeships to give students both theoretical and practical understanding of math and science skills. The bill will also take steps to address one of the key obstacles to rural STEM education, a lack of broadband access. Of the 21 million Americans who lack access to the broadband, the majority live in rural areas. With the incentive increase in online learning, we need to prioritize the connectivity of all students. This bill directs the National Institute of Standards and Technologies to establish a prize competition to stimulate innovations in technologies to deploy broadband connectivity to underserved rural communities. It also establishes a working group to set key research priorities for improving broadband access so rural communities can enjoy the same connectedness as the rest of the country. This bill includes a number of provisions to help provide rural educators with the tools they need to be successful, both in the classroom and online. It supports opportunities for rural educators to enhance their own STEM education, such as training in computer science or research opportunities at federal labs and universities. These experiences will provide rural educators with high-quality STEM skills they could take back to their classrooms and pass on to their students. Lastly, the major focus of this bill is broadening the participation of rural students in STEM. One way we can do this is by emphasizing place-based learning, which gives students the direct access to the STEM knowledge present in their communities and local environment. Place-based learning connects students to the science that's right outside their doors, whether it's studying animal science with FFA, learning about local ecosystems out on the prairies and forest, or developing the technological skills required to operate increasingly complex and computerized farm equipment. That direct experience engages students and helps them understand that STEM skills matter to everyone, not just scientists in a white lab coat. Taken together, the measures in this bill will make great strides to improve rural STEM education. I believe rural areas represent one of the greatest yet most underutilized opportunities for talented students to emphasize the United States' future STEM workforce. I'm pleased that this bill has been endorsed by a number of stakeholder groups: the STEM Education Coalition, the After School Alliance, the Battelle and XSTEM, the National Science Teaching Association, the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education, the American Chemical Society, the American Geophysical Union, the Human Factors and Ergonomics Society, the Association of American Universities, Microsoft, the Girl Scouts of USA, the National FFA Organization, and the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities. I again would like to thank Chairwoman Johnson and her staff for working with me on this bill. I strongly encourage my colleagues to vote yes to better STEM education for America's rural students, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Oklahoma reserves. Gentlewoman from Oregon is recognized.
And Mr. Speaker, as a member of the Science, Space, and Technology Committee and the Committee on Education and Labor, I want to thank Mr. Lucas for mentioning not only broadband and place-based learning. I represent several rural school districts, and I just appreciate this legislation, and I continue to reserve.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Speaker, I yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Meyer.
Gentleman from Michigan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of H.R. 210, the Rural STEM Education Act. More than 9 million students in the U.S., nearly 20% of the K-12 population, attend rural schools. And for reasons ranging from teacher quality to shortages of resources, these students often have fewer opportunities for high-quality STEM learning than their peers in urban and suburban schools. Rural areas, including those in the 3rd District of Michigan, represent one of the greatest yet underutilized chances for STEM education to impact the workforce. It is especially important that we correct this in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic when we are facing serious research and development labor market shortages. H.R. 210 would increase STEM education opportunities for rural communities, ensuring the option to learn is not dependent on your zip code. I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting this bill, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Oklahoma reserves. Gentlewoman from Oregon reserves. Gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1.5 minutes to the gentleman from Iowa, Mr. Feenstra.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In this era of scientific and technological innovation, it has never been more important to ensure our students have access to quality STEM education programs, especially in rural communities. Implementing high-speed, reliable broadband goes hand in hand with this goal. This is why I urge my colleagues to support the Rural STEM Education Research Act. Both STEM education and quality broadband access are critical to the future success and revitalization of rural America. I am hopeful that this legislation will break down barriers rural Iowans face in receiving STEM education that is both forward-thinking, long-lasting for our rural communities. This bill will also help us identify the technological and logistical challenges we still must overcome to provide broadband to every last acre of land. I want to thank my gentleman from Oklahoma, Ranking Member Lucas, for this outstanding bill and important piece of legislation. I yield back.
Gentleman from Iowa yields back. Gentleman from Oklahoma reserves. Gentlewoman from Oregon continues to reserve.
Continue to reserve.
Gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I have no further requests for time, and I am prepared to close.
Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself as much time as I might consume.
The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Lucas, is recognized.
I once again would like to thank the Chairwoman Johnson and her support of this legislation. Whether you live in Dallas, Texas, Cheyenne, Oklahoma, every student should have the opportunity to gain STEM skills and to compete for the jobs of the future. The Rural STEM Education Act gives teachers better tools to teach science and math, leverages local resources to engage students in key subjects, and addresses the lack of broadband access in rural communities. This important legislation passed the House with strong bipartisan support last Congress. I hope it will do again so today. I encourage my colleagues to support this bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back. Gentlewoman from Oregon is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I once again thank Ranking Member Lucas for his work on this legislation, thank Chairwoman Johnson for supporting it, and I urge its adoption and yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman yields back. The question is, will the House suspend the rules and pass Bill H.R. 210 as amended? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, 2/3 being in the affirmative. Gentleman from Montana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would request the yeas and nays.
Pursuant to Section 3S of House Resolution 8, the yeas and nays are ordered. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, further proceedings on this question are postponed. For what